Welcome to Rip to Shreds, and today we're going to rip VHS Beyond to shreds. VHS is a anthology found footage series. This is the seventh installment, and it's titled Beyond because it has a focus on aliens and UFOs and extraterrestrials. That is the theme for all of the shorts. uh, and yeah, no, VHS movies, select audience for those. I feel like even VHS fans aren't necessarily super hype on every single one of the movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
And with VHS, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's basically like a mixed bag of great, good, really, really cheesy, some really bad stuff, and stuff you're like, is that really horror? Eh,
hmm
yeah,
Yep, exactly. So, with this one, you had like bigger filmmakers actually involved with it. Mike Flanagan helped write one of them,
yeah,
and Justin Long and his brother Christian, right?
yep,
Both wrote and directed one of them. And there's not too much that we could find trivia wise.
no,
The one of the main things, Stork, that short. Apparently, it was a like the conception of it. It was based off of a artist, a 3D render artist that made a like a little horror depiction of a stork, just like a spooky, uh, grim version of that. His name being Oleg Vdavenko. I apologize for getting your name completely wrong. I'm sure
yeah,
I did.
whatever.
And yeah, and so that was apparently inspired by that, and then the filmmaker just made this film based off of several images that this dude just made because he thought it was cool. Um,
Yeah,
which I think is pretty neat that that's a thing, that he did that.
yeah,
However, I think that makes the short itself even more lame because it's like what it had going for it was some of the visuals
yeah.
and whatnot. And it's like, oh, you already took cool visuals, so I can't give you credit for that.
Hmm.
And then what you did put on it, it was fun, I guess you could
Yeah,
argue. It's one of the more action packed shorts.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then any other trivia? Um, I mean, you mentioned you found some trivia about the same Stork one.
The Stork one. When they show a series of videotapes, there's two that are references to other VHS segments. They have Ratma, which is VHS 94, I believe that it is
I think so. That sounds right.
it's the rat monster. Um, and then the other one is Lily, which is from the first film, Amateur Night, I think it was,
Was
which
that
was directed
the
by Ty West.
Yeah, was that the one where it's like the like almost like a vampire demon lady?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's like says that she likes the one dude.
Yeah, that one has kind of become like the mascot of like the VHS films.
Yeah,
That's like if you've seen any images from a VHS film and that's it, it is probably that short.
yeah,
And Ratma, I feel like has kind of become a little cult classic within the VHS films,
yeah.
even though I don't think it was very good. But just saying
It
"All
was
hail
interesting.
Ratma," I think's funny, so I'll
Yeah,
take that. Um, but yeah, the only other piece of trivia, I suppose, is Justin Long and his brother Christian writing and directing their short Fur Babies, which is
yeah,
just essentially a ripoff of Tusk. So There you go. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's definitely one of
Yeah.
the better shorts in the film. I just wish it was maybe a little bit more original. But for what it was, this was fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the film, it has each VHS film has a through
Wrap
storyline
around.
wraparound. Beginning cuts in a little bit between shorts, and then it's at the end. Their little segment was just a little documentary, which is kind of cool because of it being that they haven't done it that way before. Usually, it's some other form of a wraparound story.
Yeah.
This one being like an actual documentary just about UFOs and stuff, and it features the Corridor Crew being like analyzing it and stuff because apparently they got attention because of their analyzing of UFO footage and debunking it. So that was fun to see them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just ultimately the wraparound for that though was not great.
Yeah. I feel like it's almost the weakest wraparound they've had.
Exactly. What's funny is like I was feeling that it was one of the stronger ones at first because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is kind of cool, a little bit higher quality and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does feature my main issue with this entire film, and I've had issues with some of the other VHS segments. Your whole premise of your film is that it's a found footage film. So why are you throwing these random camera angles where you can see in other footage that there's no camera there? That is it's just like it is the first rule, and they break it like almost immediately with like a lot of these shorts. Some of them I think stay true to it, but I think more than half break the rule. And I find that infuriating. The little wraparound segment, we could just get into how it ends. The spoilers for this, if you care, go watch the movie if you actually care. The end of it, like, so it's just like there's the documentary talking about aliens, blah blah blah, and then they allude to this footage. Ooh, it's so spooky. They keep alluding to it, and then you eventually see the footage, and it's just like about this family, and I don't even remember the little story they're trying to tell with the family. It doesn't really matter. It's not very impactful at all. And it's like the son was haunted by aliens. He wasn't even abducted, but he was being visited. And so then it shows the footage, and it's like he has a camera set up recording himself sleeping. The alien shows up, and then he's like, ooh, like freaking out while the alien's like hovering and walking towards him. And it's cutting with like a camera like POV of his what he's seeing, and then POV of what the alien's seeing, and it's like you in the other camera you can see they don't have cameras on them. Does the alien just have a GoPro strapped to his forehead and like
possible advanced technology? You don't know that.
I think like I feel like this movie maybe it was made by the aliens as far as like the whole idea of footage that was found and then compiled together. That's the whole idea of found footage. We have a lot of these segments ending in like the camera's in the spaceship up in space. How did we get that footage?
Exactly.
So, but we see like the reverse and all these different camera angles with this alien approaching him, and then the alien, I don't remember, that puts something in his throat.
It puts the camera into his throat.
Yeah, was it supposed to just be, oh, he's putting the camera in his throat, or was he putting something else in his throat? I don't know.
Because he pulled something out of his mouth, out of his throat first.
Yeah,
and I think, and he shoved the camera back in. And then we see the inside of his throat, and it goes all the way down to the valve closing. Yeah, and that's it.
It's like, okay, whatever. But as far as the actual shorts themselves, first we got the Stork one, which is just Stork making zombies and feeding their brains to babies, and Monster Hunting Cop Squad, which was cheesy as all hell,
Yeah,
and
to me it felt like almost like they wanted to take like a take on Doom
yeah.
and have the first person shooter perspective throughout, and because they kept cutting back in between uh the vest footage that they had between all the different cops, and while another cop I think had like an actual camera himself, and fair enough they did show that cop holding the camera too.
Yeah, so like
uh
that was fine, but then a lot of the POVs of the cops, like the cameras on their vest type stuff, you don't
yeah,
actually see any of those cameras.
no,
And then they do straight up break the rule when they get the chainsaw. It just
yeah,
all of a sudden there's a camera on the chainsaw. And then
yeah.
right after that you also see the main camera look at the chainsaw, and it's like there's no camera there. You're a bunch of liars. Um
Well, you never know. They could have held the chainsaw where the camera was.
yeah. I mean, it was a cool shot, that's for sure. A
Yeah,
little POV of the chainsaw doing stuff,
yeah.
cutting zombies up. So, like, I'll give them that. But, man, yeah, this one is just so cheesy, though. You can tell, like, the dude looked at these images that the artist made of, like, this kind of cool looking cop squad and stuff, and it was just like, oh yeah, let's make the badass monster hunting squads. And it's like, oh god, I don't
Yeah.
know. There's
It felt
something. Go
really
ahead.
generic to me. Like it was just like, let's think of like the coolest thing and make it horror.
Mhm.
It felt like, oh, let's do this video game idea. Um, it worked well with aliens, where they're slaughtering like a bunch of people. Let's do that,
Mhm.
and let's show the first person point of view.
Yeah.
Which if it produced a couple of cool shots, but to me it just feels like it's like something that like it's just like whatever. We've seen it multiple times in video games. I think that the idea is ruined
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
anybody
So.
to use because we're like, oh, they're just trying to do the video game shot.
Yeah. So that one's very much a whatever. And then
Funny thing is, even though I'm talking pretty bad about Stork, it was okay. It was nothing special. It was one of those segments from VHS where I think it's okay. It's it's passable.
yeah, it's
But there is
passable for
some
the VHS
pretty
standard.
doo-doo shorts that we have on the VHS. And so for VHS short, it's pretty good. It's okay. Nothing
Yeah,
special.
it's all right. You can have fun with it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the next short is the skydiving one, which I
No,
don't.
Dream Girl one.
It was Dream Girl the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Dream Girl, hands down, I think is the worst one. Um,
Really?
I did not like it at all. I thought it was
Yeah.
ass. Like, it's just not.
To me, it felt like it had a cool premise and a cool idea. It's the execution of what they were doing kind of fell off.
Mm,
I think as soon as we got the reveal of who the Dream Girl is and what she is, I felt like it tanked hard after that.
yeah.
Um, we get like a bunch of like scenes of them run away. Get everything shot in like darkness, so we barely ever get to see how she looks as a monster. You get a couple of shots, but they're pretty, obscured. They're pretty, just quick, like bright shots because we see her in the dark.
Hmm.
Some of the kills are pretty fun, pretty cool, but I, I just think that it was something that had a good idea and a good premise, and it just fell short of what I think a good execution would have been for the film. The ending kind of fell very flat with her, like, taking the face off and then going out, and the paparazzi's there trying to take pictures of her.
Hmm.
It's kind of eh.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thrown off pretty close in the beginning because they also did breaking the whole found footage thing, where you see like the two paparazzi dudes talking to each other, and it goes to these cameras that are like on their chest or something, and
Yeah.
you can very obviously see that they don't have cameras on their chests, and it's
Mhm.
very annoying. But yeah, and then it's just I don't know. It didn't feel original to me like at all. I feel like I've seen it before. Like, oh, I want to wear your face. If you notice in this, here's another little trivia fun fact. You see so many peeled faces in this VHS movie, like several of
Yeah.
the shorts, people get their faces peeled off. It's like,
Yeah.
did you guys just
Face
like
trauma.
you just figured out like, oh, here's a good this guy's really good at doing face peeling special effects. He does it for cheap. Let's hire him for all the shorts.
Yeah.
like, um, but yeah, so just the whole like I felt like I saw everything coming as it was happening. It
Yeah.
was just like I don't know. I didn't enjoy it really at all.
And the
So
way they like kind of like phone in the end of like the guy, I think it was like Arnab, I think that was his name, or Arnab.
hmm
He wanted to be a star, and then in the end he technically was the star because she was wearing his face at the end, which is again paparazzi. He got
yeah.
what he wanted.
Yeah,
um
that was also another little side of it is when she like goes bad and blah blah blah.
yeah.
It looked like makeup to me. Like
Yeah.
it's not that it looked bad. It's the in concept it was bad.
Hmm.
Because it was just like there's no way you can really make that look good 100%. So like
Yeah.
why didn't you change your idea of the way to go about it with the makeup? So it just she just looked dumb to me the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't
So
know if she was supposed to be an android, an
yeah, so
alien,
that's the other thing.
or some kind of like demon.
This is the first short where oh yeah, as far as Stork goes, there's a meteorite that crashed and was
Yeah.
opened up in the building. So they established that this Stork is an alien.
Yeah.
So it's alien. This one, she's definitely supposed to be like some kind of android. Um, you could argue she's an alien android or an alien cyborg.
Yeah.
She has like a whole electric thing about her. She gets parts of her
Vomits acid.
yeah, and then there's that, which is interesting. And then her face gets peeled off a little bit, and it's like a robot face. But yeah, it's whatever. It's like okay. It's sci-fi enough, so it's like this is a
Yeah.
sci-fi related, so I'll take that. It's sci-fi, so sure, it fits enough, I guess.
Yeah.
And then next was the skydiving one.
Yep.
I like the skydiving one.
I think skydiving one is probably the best of the bunch.
For me, I would say second best.
Yeah.
The one thing it did not have going for it was the aliens themselves did not look great.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was cool just because it's like literally skydiving friends. Oh my gosh, there's a UFO. And then the UFO crashes through their plane, so it explodes, and they all have to fly down and get their parachutes and stuff. It doesn't go well for like half of them, and then once they're on the
Yeah.
ground, the aliens are hunting them down, and it's nice and action packed and really like fast paced.
Yeah.
And then dude commandeers a truck, and then the truck gets abducted, and then he goes up, and then that's where it's like, well, how'd you get this footage? Because it ends with him being abducted.
Yeah.
But definitely some cool effects. This is another one where it's like a GoPro, which then makes you wonder why the film's called VHS, because you're putting a GoPro on a VHS tape.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, this one has lots of cool little effects. The truck that he commandeers, the dude doesn't know what's going on, so he thinks he's just trying to carjack him, pulls a gun on him, and then an alien attacks him, and he like turns and shoots, and it blows off parts of the dude's hand, and then he's
Yeah.
driving with like fingers dangling and like that stuff. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool for sure.
I kind of liked how the alien design too. It was a lot different than what we would see from like a normal alien, and like
Mm-hmm.
the whole. I didn't understand the whole thing where like the head split open and it would like scan them or something, or
Yeah, I don't know.
and then all of a sudden the alien would like shoot out like these like needles out of its body and kill them.
Yeah.
And so it was just an interesting idea where we got such a premise that all these friends having a good time, they're excited for the birthday, and then this thing that's like out of nowhere starts happening, and it's just it was just really intriguing to see it happening, and then like I felt like all of the characters' reactions to everything were pretty realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like this one, if any of them could be a full feature film, I
Yeah.
think this one could be. Um, Literally, like, as I was watching it and it was kind of getting into it, I like paused it for a second because I was like, is this the same guys that did like Deadstream and like the other one? Because it was like kind of on that point.
Yeah.
Which short was it that the Deadstream guys made again? It was like
To Hell and Back.
to Hell and Back, and that one was in the last VHS movie, or was that?
Two VHSs ago.
Okay, yeah. So, and like those guys I really like. So thinking that this was them for a second, because I was like, is this them? Like this, like the style and kind of quick paced and
Yeah.
actually being engaging. Definitely, I like that one. So,
The cool thing is about this one, it's written and directed by the Radio Silence guy, one of the Radio Silence guys.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
You can see the experience then. So,
Yeah. And I felt like the only reason why the alien looked pretty kind of like low budget was because they probably don't get a lot of budget to work with during these like shorts,
yeah,
and you can see it with like some of the other shorts like the Stork. Those alien heads, when they were cutting them off, looked pretty like Halloween masky,
yeah,
and so like I am all for like forgiving like little things like that where like okay, maybe they didn't have like the best enough money to do some good CGI.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so it's
But
like it didn't bother me that much, but that is the one negative about it is the
yeah, I think it
alien
was like
CGI.
the best overall story. It had it had intrigue. It kept me entertained. I didn't pause it once because I was just ready for more as it went, and then it felt like the stakes kept going higher and higher and higher, even though he kept escaping. Yet somehow he was still pulled into the tractor beam.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
that one is like 2 thumbs up. That one's good.
Yeah.
And like I would say that one is like, I mean, I'd have to like really go in depth, but maybe it's top 5 as far as all the VHS shorts of the whole franchise.
Mm,
Like I would say it's up there.
that's saying a lot. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd say
And
possibly top 10.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Definitely
Yeah.
top 10. Definitely top 10. And then yeah, so the next is Fur Babies, right?
Yep, Justin Long and his
Yeah.
brother.
So literally just Tusk copy and paste, but put it into dogs in a doggy daycare. Um, Definitely entertaining. It was put together well. My only thing is it wasn't original. I was like I've seen this before. This is Tusk. Like,
See, this is where I disagree. I thought some stuff was cool. I just thought it was super lame.
that's fair.
Yeah, I was like, really? This is what we're going with? And I'm like,
Yeah.
so is the whole sci-fi idea of this is it's supposed to be just like the whole body horror of them,
Yeah, no, this is
turning
where
them
it's
into like
I
tusk
I feel
or dogs.
yeah, I feel like this one is just like it does not fit the
It does
overarching
not.
narrative, and it was simply because it was Justin Long, and VHS guys were like, "Well, yeah, whatever you want to do, it's fine."
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I can't blame them. I'd probably do the same. Like, yeah, you don't actually want to do something with aliens? Sure, that's fine.
Yeah. I really, really wanted to like this one too. So I think that's why it was the biggest letdown.
That's
I
fair.
thought it had a cool idea with the dogs and everything like that. It just felt dumb to me.
Uh-huh.
With like the whole like, oh, we're gonna get this bitch and we're gonna PETA her or get her to report her to PETA, and then we find out what happens to them too, and then their friends just show up and they kick in the door and they're like, oh, we're gonna call the cops. Oh wait, let's not call the cops because the cops are bitches. Let's not call the cops.
Yeah, they're fascist, which I
Fascists, yeah.
actually think that that's pretty funny though. That it's
It is
like
funny,
that's
but
the
it's just
reason.
it's so dumb. That's what I'm just
It
saying.
does kind of fit though because their
Yeah,
whole vibe is, they're activists, they're
yeah,
like all about like that kind of stuff. So it fits the hating on cops and not even calling them when you
yeah,
should. Um so yeah, but then it was just the lame part. The most disappointing part was just the fact that they just all got slaughtered incredibly easily.
yeah,
So it's just like, oh
yeah.
come on, like I feel like you could have put up a little bit of a fight. There was like five of them, and then two dog people just pounce on them and they die
Yeah.
immediately. It's like
And I feel like
okay.
the dog people, the hybrids, they wouldn't have that much strength because they're pretty much, surgically hampered. Like their muscles are,
Mm-hmm.
probably torn to run on their hands and knees.
Yeah.
They don't have like hands to grab onto you. They just have like these fake
Yeah.
paws
I mean,
that have been like surgically engineered.
if
It just
if anything, like the two dogs, they're older dogs or whatever, so who knows how
yeah,
long they've been dogs.
yeah,
So
true.
it's like, maybe they're at the top of their A game or whatever.
Yeah.
Um I
But
found
yeah.
I found some mild enjoyment in the end of it where the dog goes and is like drinking water and like eating food, and then just the Amazon package snatcher guy who just busts out and tackles him. I find some enjoyment in that, but yeah,
This is so dumb
it
to
was
me.
a
I was just
very
like,
dumb short. Yeah, no, for sure. I think I can really see just Justin Long's sense of humor, especially with like a lot of the super cheesy B horror movies
yeah,
that he's in. Um,
I can tell you that.
yeah,
I can tell you that though. It seemed like whoever made this had a good time because it
yeah.
looked like it was just like they were having fun making this.
No,
I
yeah,
can
for
give you
sure.
that. But maybe it's just not my cup of tea. Maybe I'm just not into like these kind of cheesy, dumb for fun, horror
Mm-hmm.
short. Maybe I'm looking for V8. But then again, that's why I liked the To Hell and Back, the Deadstream one, because it had like such good humor as
Hell and
well
Back's
in it.
so good though.
Yeah.
That's like,
So
yeah.
maybe it's just this one just didn't hit with me. Just like I feel like it probably has to be the worst out of the bunch, in my opinion.
You think this one was worse than Dream Girl?
I think so.
Damn. Okay. Okay.
I just
That's
I
fair.
honestly think I honestly think that I probably had high expectations for it, and possibly after I read that it was from Justin Long, maybe that's what pushed it down further.
Fair.
Um, but I like the premise of Dream Girl. I just think the execution was just really off. I just felt like they lost track of what they were trying to do, and the premise got away from them.
Yeah.
With this
Hmm.
one, I feel like he got everything he wanted done. He achieved everything he wanted, and it just to me it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
But like I said, maybe it's just not my cup of tea.
No, I feel that. No, yeah, such a low bar that it sets. So
Yeah,
it's just like everything.
and it,
A lot of this is at the bottom of the barrel for me. But
yeah. But the one thing like I'll say about these before we get into the last one is that this has to be the most consistent on the quality of of what's it called, of the shorts, most
shorts, yeah,
consistent, being they're all just okay to whatever.
yeah,
Like
no, yeah. I would say that yeah, there's an improvement of even though a lot of it's low bar.
yeah,
It's not like Oh God, I want to turn this off right now.
Yeah. Whereas like in some of the other ones, there's ones that are like really good, and then there's in that same VHS, there's some that are just like horrible.
Yeah, like VHS Viral had a lot of bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
The funny thing is, one of my favorite VHS segments didn't even make it into VHS Viral. It plays at the end after the credits,
oh really?
and um, so I really think high of. I think it's called Gorgeous Vortex. I think really, really high of it. I think it's really cool. But then you have something like the what's it called? The documentary with the magician. Cool idea, cool premise, but dude, it just
Just stupid.
misses like everything that I want
Yeah.
in a VHS film.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
let's just finish this off. But to go back to what we were going with the next one is Stowaway.
Yeah. I like this one. This one was my favorite.
I think it's pretty cool too.
Like obviously I would say like, the skydiving one is more entertaining, has
Yeah,
more of that, but I was engaged and very interested the entire time with
yeah.
Stowaway, which was, I don't know if it was co-written or if he just wrote it 100%. Mike Flanagan
Uh,
wrote
yeah, it
Stowaway.
says that well,
He did not direct it, he wrote it. So
yeah, two sources I've seen. He co-wrote it with his wife, and then this other source I'm looking at right now says that he wrote it on his own.
okay,
So
yeah. No, yeah, exactly. So, um, man, just Mike Flanagan, just like my guy. He's just batting all the time, getting strikes. He's great at what he does.
yeah,
And yeah, so this one is just like this astrologer that is just trying to look into like UFOs and everything.
yeah,
And then yeah, it goes, documentary style. She's talking to the camera a lot, blah blah blah, and then she finds a UFO ship, and just everything about like from beginning to end is just very interesting.
yeah,
And so she enters the ship, and it's like all gooey, and like it's pretty cool, like original way to tackle like a UFO. It's not like
yeah.
metallic. Everything is like organic.
It's very organic biological means, you know.
Exactly. And then she's like kind of messing around with stuff in there. These like super sharp strings that if you touch them, it does something. You're not 100%
Makes
sure.
a sound that we
Exactly.
know.
But then it's
Yeah,
super sharp, so she cuts her finger on it and then finds that there's these like nano bite things that heal her finger. Um, but
but it doesn't heal it like perfectly. It leaves
yeah.
just a little something different.
Yeah, it's like the first time she does it, it seems fine. And the second
And
time,
she has this little mark
yeah, she just has a
left
little
over.
mark. And then
Yeah,
the second time, all of a sudden her fingers, like, I don't remember, did it look kind of
it's like a long
lizardy
nail.
or, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then like you can see that the aliens are collecting like animals, insects,
yeah.
and all sorts of stuff. They have a octopus, they have a spider. I think those are the
A
only two
lizard.
that you see. Yeah.
I think we
Um,
see a lizard too.
yeah, and so then, but yeah, so then she messes around a little bit more, has to hide because one of the aliens starts walking around, then goes in a little sleep pod, and then the ship takes off, and she's stuck in it. Oh no, the door is gone.
Yeah,
Um, and and then you get some pretty gross stuff
good
that
body
is
horror.
actually like really cool at the same time though.
Yeah,
Because
because
yeah,
it
go
shoots
ahead.
up in the space like at the speed of light, and she's basically like almost like destroyed.
Yeah, she gets like
But then
pulverized.
yeah, but then the little nanites come back and heal her,
Put her
and she's
back
back.
together.
Yeah,
She's
but
back.
this time put back together, and she kind of looks like
She's a little fucked up.
Yeah, she almost looks like an octopus, you know.
Yeah.
Like she's like pretty much like a pile of goo, but has like a tentacle and octopus legs.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shoots off again, and then stops. And then she's torn up even more, and
Mm-hmm.
she gets healed up again, and she wants it to stop, but we get that, you know, as they travel back to where they're living, and they talk about she talks about how, you know, even if they travel at the speed of light, it'll take up to, I think, like 28 years to get to Andromeda. So is she going to be suffering that for 28 years?
No, yeah. The thing that's really cool that they show is like, so she keeps getting like obliterated and then put
Yeah.
back together, but then each time she's some grotesque like thing. She has like a spider face like at the end or whatever.
Hmm.
And then like all sorts of teeth and everything. But at one point during it is she has like sharp claws on her hands and she slits her own throat. Like she's like, just make it stop,
Yeah.
and like tries to kill herself. But the nano bites heal her again, and so she literally cannot die.
Yeah.
And this is gonna go on for 28 years or something, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, like that is horrifying.
Yeah.
But
I think it was very well done. It was one of those ones that just like made me think too. It's like, wow, what you can't really do much in that situation. You like, you know, you're gonna get basically killed, resurrected, killed, resurrected, killed, resurrected,
mhm.
until you get to the end where you're gonna almost be not yourself anymore, unrecognizable.
Yeah, and then the aliens are gonna be like, "Ooh, what's that?" and then probably kill
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But I
um,
think this whole idea of the film was like the curse of curiosity getting the best of you.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, and they did not break the found footage rule. The only thing that they did kinda is the whole it being found footage.
Or
But
they find it.
yeah, you never know. The aliens visited Earth. They might send it back with a pile of goo that is her.
Yeah,
But so yeah, because the camera's just in space and you see everything. And I thought that was so cool because when it's like doing it, it's like zero gravity. So the camera's just floating around and you're barely seeing what's actually happening. You're just getting
yeah,
glimpses of like pieces of her flying around and bones and like meat. And
yeah. I think it's shot in thermal too, so you're not seeing like any color.
yeah, exactly.
It's all like kind of sepia gray tones.
And then it's like you're just, and then it'll like the camera will just be like floating, and then you'll see like her grotesque face, and then it'll like move away, and then it moves again, and it's like, "Argh," and then you see a
Yeah,
little bit more. It was just a very, very cool all around. Um, but yeah, so that one is definitely my number one. The
yeah,
skydiving is my number two. And Fur Babies, I guess, is number three. And then the Stork, and then Dream Girl at the bottom.
yeah.
What about yourself?
I'd go Live and Let Dive number one. I'd go Stowaway number two. Stork number three.
Hmm.
Dream Girl number four. Fur Babies number five.
Fair.
Wraparound number six, if we count the wraparound.
Yeah, yeah, that one would be number six because it just also just like didn't have an arc, didn't have anything going for it.
Yeah,
But I would say I liked the wraparound ultimately better than like which I think it was 99 or something, where it's like the SWAT raiding a warehouse or whatever, and it's like the cult that are all watching the VHS tapes and stuff. Do you remember that
yeah,
one? 94 maybe is what that one was. That was the wraparound segment for that one, and that
yeah,
one I think was a really cool way to do it at first, but that one just butchered it by the end of it because one of the cops was in on it and shoots
Yeah.
the other cop. And it's just like, it's so bad. But
Yeah.
so I'll say it was better than that. But that
Hmm.
ending definitely was not great. Um,
Yeah. I think like is that like I said before, I think this is the most consistent in quality where none of them are horribly bad,
uh-huh.
but they're all in that good to okay range.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with and I think like I said, Fur Babies, I think even though it's probably my worst, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
just not. I just think it's just not my cup of tea. It's not like some of the others where I'm like I really never really want to watch that ever again type of thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. No, yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, so VHS, the franchise, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's got some little golden nuggets. Most of the
Mhm.
time it's got little shit nuggets.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, any
But I think that's what makes them so interesting is because even though some of them don't hit, a lot of the concepts are super creative,
uh-huh.
and that's what give all the concepts. They're
Mm-hmm.
super creative. We have a for sake. We have in the first one we have a freaking serial killer that's a glitch, camera glitch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we have in the second one we have you know uh, 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 a documentary style one that's done, but it's of them doing a cult compound, which is pretty cool, which I think is the best one done. And then you have something like uh, the Hell and Back one where it's two guys trying to summon a demon and they get caught in hell, which is pretty funny and cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of creativity, and that's why I keep coming back to watch them, is because they're super creative. There's something fun. Um, they might not all be super fun, but there's something
Mm-hmm.
there's something to watch there that's a little original.
Yeah. It's your little Halloween bag of candy. Some might have little razors in the candy and you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah,
Or, other sorts of tricks like lighting a bag of shit on fire on your front doorstep. It's just a great October franchise.
yeah,
So it just fits. You never know if you're gonna get a trick or a treat when you're watching VHS.
yeah.
Yep, and I was definitely tricked into watching Dream Girl. Uh, but yeah, any other thoughts about all of this VHS Beyond? Are you more curious about the Beyond after watching this film?
No, I think it's time to put this one to bed.
Well, okay.
I
What
think
would you say? We can't necessarily rank all the films right now, but like, is this one of the better ones? So it's like top half of the VHS franchise,
I'd say
or
so, but
yeah,
but then again, it's like what I said. It was the most consistent, so there was no high valleys or low valleys and high peaks. It was all pretty much just.
yeah, a little more monotone the
Whereas
whole time.
some of them were like high peak or high peaks, super low valleys, or if your VHS viral, you get high peak, lots of low valley.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
I just think it was the most consistent, so I'd say it's probably one of the better ones.
yeah,
But that's not, it's not a very high bar to cross with these films
yeah,
because, you know, like a lot of it is, I think a lot of these filmmakers take a chance to do something fun and a little different and outside the box. And some of them hit, some of them just don't.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, so go ahead and comment. Let us know what you thought of the film. Where does it rank in the VHS franchise for you?
Yeah.
I think we might, maybe, if the people want it, you're gonna have to hit like, subscribe, and comment if you want it. We can maybe make a little tier list or a ranking video about the VHS
Yeah.
films. If you want us to get into the nitty gritty, maybe we can do a ranking video for every single segment of the entire franchise.
That would be dope.
That'd be like a whole
I would be down to
hour
do something like that.
or more of a video.
I don't know if Josiah's seen any of them.
Yeah, I don't know. Josiah doesn't even know we're recording this right now.
I know. Don't tell him.
Yeah, he's gonna
Nobody
be
tell him.
surprised when this is posted in the morning.
Yeah. Nobody tell him.
Yeah, and
Secret.
yeah, and then we're just gonna find out he's the biggest VHS fan ever, and he's gonna be so mad he's gonna quit the channel, and then the channel's just gonna go downhill from here. That's all we got.
Yeah. You're gonna find out Dream Girl is his favorite segment of all time.
Yeah, he's got like Dream Girl poster. He's got that whatever song soundtrack favorited on his.
Tara is his favorite singer of all time.
Mm-hmm. And she's in all his playlists on his iPod Nano from 2008.
Yeah.
And yeah, every time we come to record a simple video like this, we're like, oh, this is going to be a short one.
Nope. Never.
Not a short one.
Yep. Never, ever.
Just can't help it. Yeah. Let us know what you thought about it. And do you agree with our ranking? Do you think that Rick is just a hater of Tusk ripoffs? Tell him he's a big dumb.
Please do.
Yeah. And then like and subscribe and share with your friends. Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.